Fantastic. We should be live if everything went well. Well, welcome everyone to today's episode of Everything Outside Code. Today, we're going to be going into how to be a 10x developer advocate with artificial intelligence or AI. You've probably seen AI everywhere. And if you have built a great product, you're thinking about how do you want to go to market, especially if it's for developers. Well, today I'm talking to a very special guest, Francesco Cuilla from Xerox. If you have been in the web development, Rust development space, you definitely know Francesco. Welcome to the show today, Francesco.
Thank you so much, William, for inviting me. I'm just back from a very long conference tour, so I'm finally at home here. Finally, can see my house again, and this is my first live episode after all this traveling. So, super happy and eager to have a very nice conversation. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, amazing. Well, the spring conference season is coming up, so you're definitely going to hit the road soon again for a while, I can imagine. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. And for anyone listening to this, feel free to leave comments either on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this from. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to have fun diving into developer advocacy. So, to the man of the moment, Francesco, could you tell us a bit about how you got here? Not to the stream, obviously, but how you got to being developer advocate, head of developer relations at Assume at Xerox.
Yes, sure. So I got into the stream by clicking a link. And apart from that, for developer relations, I think I started working in developer relations in 2021. Just to give a bit of context, before switching my career to tech, I was doing a completely different job. I don't know if you know this, but I was working in sports. I was a volleyball coach. So I've been doing this since I was 15 to 32. Let's say. So it has been a while, let's say almost 20 years. But I always loved the computers, like creating some website, also playing games a lot. But in 2015, I decided to switch career and really pursue my career in tech. I would have never thought that I would have ended up doing live events because I was super shy. I know you don't trust me, but I have proofs of this. And long story short, I landed my first role as a full stack developer for the European Space Agency in 2017. So a very, very professional and boring job, I would say, but it was a nice job, totally different from what I do now. But then in 2020, COVID happened. And so I started working from home. I worked on my social media presence. Again, I'll make a quick version because I want to talk about devrel. I decided to quit my role in 2021, and a few months later, I got my first role in developer relations. So this was May 2021. I had one company first for a few months. Then I've been working at Daily Dev for another company. Now I say conference instead of companies because I've been at many for about 3 years. And then I don't work at Daily Dev anymore. And I started a new role about 2 months ago. So I'm quite fresh, I would say. Even, even if I have some experience, man. New role. So maybe devrel is back. And we will see. We will see. I want to have a very nice conversation. And, devrel is all about, talking about it, let's say, exchanging ideas, finding what we do. Because you know what, William, like you can say I do work in developer relations, but I had the 3 roles that are very different from each other. For example, now I'm coding way more than what I was coding before. So the role in devrel really depends on the company you work with.
Yeah.
So for now, I have a more technical role.
Could you speak more? Could you speak more about that distinction? Could you speak more about that distinction? Because folks usually, I also say that developer relations split between product, community, and content, and that shift, you shift the weights depending on the stage of the company. And usually, when I speak to folks, they maybe work at a really large company, and they're doing more content and community and less product. But it seems like they're doing more product and content at this stage. Could you speak a bit more to that?
Yeah, sure. By the way, hi, Shauri and OrcDev. They're here in the chat. So I made, in developer relations, everyone gives their own definition, their own names. So I also found my own definition that is also easy to remember because there are 3 C's. So there are 3 main things you can do in developer relations. So one is content, one is community, and one is the curator, because I needed something with C again. So content is about, creating videos, maybe, planning, doing live events and so on. Then there is the community part, which can be more about creating community events, or even posting on social media. I talk more in the community part. For example, especially if you just post on Twitter, on LinkedIn, I don't know if you can consider it especially like real content, but it's more about engaging. And then the other part is curator. I call it curator because it's easy to remember because they start with C, but it's more about creating documentation. So it's more about all the developer experience. So curator is basically the developer experience. So creating documentation, creating the connections with other tools, and the stuff. So it's like trying to educate also the developers in your company and what to do.
So which of these C's do you do most of at the moment, and why?
I do all of them, but let's say that at the moment I'm on this company. I worked a lot on the curator part because especially at the beginning, you start working on the documentation, the guides, and then based on that, you start creating content. So this is also what I did in the previous company. So I think it's a nice flow that when you're new to a company, you start, understanding the product. You need to get a degree in the company, a degree in how you know the company, and then you start, creating event. Because I think that a developer advocate should also be a person who actually knows the product. It's not marketing is not like a social media manager, which I think is a different role. I mean, you can also post on Twitter, of course, but since you come from the developer world, I think it's nice if they hire you as a developer advocate, as a head of the REL. It means that you will speak, you will talk with developers. But if we talk about frameworks, I'm not scared. I'm actually excited. So
Yeah, no, you're right. And looking at this from the perspective of a company as well, do you feel like that's also like a good focus for the company to make sure they've cemented, the curation part before they acquire users? Because a lot of companies, they build something which they feel is amazing, and they go straight out into acquisition without ensuring that the activation, that when developers do come in, they have a great experience and they can stay on, for instance. From a perspective of a company, do you feel like that also makes sense?
yes. So of course we can differentiate between acquisition. You can also get it with just running ads 24/7. The developer advocate is more on as a long-term investment, and they work more on retention, on making people stay. Because yes, you can have 1 million impressions, maybe get 100,000 new users, but if they don't understand your product, you have a leaked bucket. So basically, maybe 10 people will stay, and this is a huge problem for companies. If you get 20 real users that they know the developer advocate and they start using product for real and they start advocating for the company, that's a huge win in the long term. So if you want to have a very short term, just get some user just to brag about it, then you can just do marketing. But if you really want to make your company really skyrocket and see that hockey stick, then you need people to stay, because developers will have problems who will use the product. They need help, they need support, they even share feedback, of course. So developer advocacy is basically playing the long-term game, playing a marathon. I also like running, so I like analogies about sports. Hey, Michael.
Yeah. Hi, Judge. How? Yeah, 100%. I like your perspective about developer advocacy being more retention focused, because you can do so much with acquiring new users. And usually, when you bring on a developer advocate and you're forcing them to focus more on acquisition, I feel like there's always a disconnect there. There's usually friction, right? Because they're supposed to advocate for a developer, which is, I feel, a lot of times a lot deeper than just getting them into the platform and and peace. Let's talk a bit about the old way, how you did develop advocacy before we go into like the new way with AI. What did your workflow look like? Say you come into a new company or an organization, and I know you probably do a lot of consultancy and advisory, right? A company approaches
Yeah,
you, hey, we've built this great product, we want to go to market for developers. How should we approach it? How did you
yeah.
do that before today?
I love this question, and it reminds me when we were used to say, before COVID and after COVID, and now we say before AI and after AI. So there is like
Yeah,
already a new
yeah.
era. After 3 years, we already have a new era. And what did I do? Yes, because now I can brag that I was doing developer relations before AI. I never thought about that. I was doing similar things. I was just slower. So I was just, creating content on the old style, creating my own script, recording and editing in my own way, adjusting the sound of my videos, editing it by myself. I still like, to be honest, the hand making editing. So I was basically slower, but everyone was slower, so it was fine. So I was probably creating 2 videos, 3 videos, good edited videos per month, and it was considered like even a good thing. Sometimes 4. Now probably we have to create 10 videos per month. So it was just slower, but everyone was slower. It's like when we were going with horses and now we go with cars. Everyone now can be faster. And I don't know if this makes me happy or sad because we are not stopping working. We just are demanded to do more. So it's not that we do less.
Yeah.
Probably do even more.
Mhm.
So probably someone I can
Yeah.
even push to do 12 videos instead of 10. Before it was not possible, but because we had less power, let's say, in tools. So this is, I think
Yeah.
that changed the most, especially in the content preparation. Even though the documentation, I wrote it hand by hand, line by line. Now I will still do, of course, some checks, but AI can help, especially if to fix a bit the tone, or at least to do a grammar check, or you can try to rephrase some parts if you don't like them. You can create an alter for images. I was using to create the alter for the image by hand. Now, if you have an
Yeah.
image, for example, a great use case of AI is this: you have an image, alter for an image, which will probably can do a way better job than me. And for example, for that, it's absolutely fine to use AI. It probably will give a way better thing that I will do. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So sheer power in execution, right? That's what I'm hearing. I'm thinking about also on the strategic side, right? Now that you can do deep research faster, you can evaluate what channels work. Because I know this strategic pick comes first before you actually start creation. How did you do that before? Right? I'm sure a lot of people still follow the same pattern with research, analyzing channels, the audience, what communities people should be in. How did that go for you?
Yeah, so I still like to do many things by hand. So you're talking about strategies and stuff. For now, for example, what I like the most is that I still check things on my own. I don't have an agent checking, other people's channel stuff. But for example, now you can have a whole chat that has all the context of what you want to do. It's like, a super note app. So if you have, I have this, and this. I think at least for me, it's great to organize ideas. Instead of just putting
Mhm.
things on a notes and then read them one by one, you can still write your own notes. You can still check your own things and then say, okay, I don't know, we have these 3 ideas. Let's talk about this, and then you can elaborate. So I think we should
Yeah.
still create something handmade before. Otherwise, it feels not without context. You'll get something very generic and random. You don't want something generic. You want something that is on point for the company, on point on the product, on point on what you want to do, and then to
Yeah.
organize ideas. It can help so much. But I still think that starting with your own thoughts is the best approach. Of course, if you want to ignore this tip, you can just try, but probably the output it will not be the same. And I also think that if you start in a very generic way with AI and then you have to fix it later because you don't like it, you are basically wasting time. Instead, if you start giving nice ideas, your own impressions, your own context, then it can really help a lot.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you that the differentiator now becomes our opinions, right? And our experiences, what we know, how we feel, and also our immediate assessment of the market. I still feel like as people, we are able to compute more emotional variables faster than an AI tool would, right? You're able to pick up sentiment from being at the meetup and at a large event and blending that with your past experience to come up with an opinion that an AI tool can use to formulate better strategies for you than if you just relied 100% on AI and the training data and current news. Because if you want to have first movers advantage, right? You get first mover advantage by being a first mover, like reacting quicker to what you see, like what you've experienced. Whereas with AI, it relies on data that exists, right? So social posts, if something hasn't been posted, you have absolutely no way of knowing that, right? But you get first movers advantage if you put in your own opinion. That is great. So let's bring it a bit to the present. And I haven't asked what Xerox does. Could you speak a bit about what Xerox does? I know I looked it up a bit, and I know
Sure.
it does improve. Like it's within the developer experience space, but I'm curious what it does.
Yes, so basically, Xerox is a platform to deploy applications with zero operations. That's why the name, hence the name Xerox. It's zero operations, and the core idea is that it will handle the scaling for you. And what I like the most about Xerox is the transparency. I think that it's the only platform that when you will see exactly how much you will spend. I challenge you to find a platform which is that transparent. You will see you will spend $2.1 per month for this application. Sometimes when you
Okay.
are on other platforms, I see you are nodding because I know that there is a huge problem. And this is one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I liked it so much. So the transparency, I think that it feels like a breeze for developers, especially in this area when you see sometimes you see some these scary bills post on social media, so it avoids that issue, and it's basically handling the scaling, and then you can start with a receipt, so it's basically a template, and the cool part is that we will support slowly all the possible frameworks and all the possible languages. I've been working in the past 2 months to create templates for at least 20 frameworks, 20 languages. So it has been,
Yeah.
and of course I use the AI for that. Otherwise, I would have lose my mental health. But the core idea is super. The core idea is super cool. We just need to relaunch. I think we will do this in the upcoming days now, and do basically a new version. You will see a lot of content. You will see my face a lot, and basically I'm curating this, and we are hiring a team of developer advocates. So there is a lot of going on. And this is in short, in one line. You can check at Xerox and you will find it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thanks. Yeah, I definitely do understand like the cost predictability, for sure when using a cloud deployment platform. I mean, there's a whole ecosystem built around like FinOps and cost optimization with cloud usage, but that's usually on like the large cloud providers. And I love the fact that you're able to scale the not just the developer experience, I think the product experience with AI in the last couple of days, since you're looking at more product coverage. So I know you touched about docs previously and using that for content and now product expansion I guess the core question now would be, what does your experience as a developer advocate look like today with AI? However specific you can get would be great.
I feel overpowered, overcharged. I don't know when when you feel, have you seen, Spider-Man when he gets hit by the spider? So you really feel that you have so much that you can do. You can also do many things in parallel. While I was building these templates, I was also a bit on social media. So I think content switching is becoming one of the best skills, which I think is one of my best skills. So I'm happy to live in this world. And so content switching for some people can be very annoying, but in developer relations, this is, I think, one of the best skills you can have. And basically, organize things, check a little strategies. Again, I always like to start from my ideas, then I make a Google Doc, and I say, okay, what do you think about this? How can you improve it? One of the things that I like to do the most with AI is like, I have this plan. What do you think is missing? And then I start replying. So I don't want AI. William, everyone is glorifying AI for generating things. And AI can generate a lot of stuff. I like to use AI to, ask me stuff, explain me stuff, analyze statistics. So more about the introspection and understanding. Even if anyone says,
like
with a prompt you can create an application, you'll become a millionaire. Maybe if you have a good idea. But this was also the same 10 years ago. You can even do a billionaire app, but maybe copy pasting and using some boilerplate. And maybe now you can do this in 2 hours compared to 8 hours. But that's not a huge difference. You were still fast 5 years ago. What I really like is, I can give a plan to AI and ask, okay, what is missing? How can we execute this? And then I check it, say, okay, and ask me what I can do to improve. But this has to be my own program. Otherwise, I'll become just, a courier. Say, just take this, post there. But you know what? Developer advocacy is all about empathy, feeling. If you feel that I'm just reading an AI thing, you will stop believing me. That's because this is what I will do. I don't know if that will be the same for you, or maybe I think, I don't know. Maybe William has been a bit busy later, but I think we can still feel when something is something that at least the idea starts from you, and then maybe you use the AI. But we are not AI now. We are human beings. So I think human touch is even more important now. Like what we're doing now is more important because it's not AI generated. So I love it.
Yeah. No, you're right. A couple of very strong points there. But yeah, I do agree that the human element is super important. And I like your approach of using AI as a coach. So this way you create better, right? But you're also better. Like you end up being better because you kind of understand what's being put out there. And it's less prescriptive and more directive, I'd say. Right. So you start it and then it improves it, and then makes it better. And also, to your point about developer advocacy just mostly being about empathy, I agree. As a developer advocate myself, a huge part of the job has always been feelings, just navigating feelings. How do people feel about your product so that they can try it? How does the product experience feel for them? A lot of developers are actually emotional buyers. A lot of the time. That's why we used to have the framework hoppers. Folks that would move from React to Vue and back to Astro, and it was all emotional, but we felt it was very logical, right? Yeah, I do resonate with that. I'm curious, what is with this workflow that is starting with your idea, making it better with AI, going through multiple revisions till a great final product is out, which is better than what it would have been if there wasn't AI. Would you say that is the one workflow improvement that's sort of been like a 10x multiplier for you with AI, or is there something else? But basically, what is that 10x multiplier for you as a developer advocate using AI today?
Yeah, the 10x multiplier, I have a no-brainer here, which is the content preparation. So sometimes it took me,
Okay.
way more time to prepare a piece of content than actually creating and recording. So I still want to record my own stuff, but before, as I mentioned, like with my previous company, I needed to work 20 hours on the preparation and then 2 hours to recording and then 4 hours to edit. Now it's probably 1 hour to prepare, 2 hours to record, and 4 hours to edit, because I still want to edit the stuff, probably 3 hours and a half on the edit. So the preparation on content, because probably I already know what I want to build. Probably I already know how the video I want it to look like. But if I have to write everything by hand just for the tutorial, I need the AI there to be faster. And of course, I want to record the video myself, even while typing. Sometimes I use some autocomplete. It depends on the type of project. How I want this to be long. But content preparation, especially on, for example, for live streams, if I have to create a live stream where I code, now I can prepare with AI before all the steps, like I did this some months back. And then when I'm live, I have, something that I've been working on, preparing with AI, and then it's basically for the training for content. So this has been skyrocketed. Like if you ask me, I don't know, to do a live stream about a specific thing in 3 days, I can probably prepare, because I can spend 4 hours with AI building the project. I tried a couple of times and I'm ready. If you asked me this 4 years ago, I would have panicked, because I say, I don't know if I can do it. Now I think that if I know what the thing does, I'm quite confident that I can do this in 1 day, 2 days max.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So content preparation, that's the 10x. That's the 10x multiplier. And yeah, I definitely do agree with you. But then I'm curious. One question that popped in my mind now is, if developers aren't coding anymore and using AI agents to code, is there a need for tutorials, like coding tutorials? What would that world look like when we shift from writing code on streams and video tutorials to just using an agent? Is it still going to be the same format? Where does the human element come into that? Or do you just open up the video and be like, hey, type in this prompt, one shot it, and you're going to get the solution? How do you envision that experience changes for developers, especially with education?
Yes, so for sure the video tutorials have been impacted. So they didn't absolutely disappear, because some people, they still like the person, or maybe they really want to do that. So for sure there are less. I don't know, like, there are less horses, but horses are still there. Didn't like completely disappear. So and of course this is maybe even too harsh analogy. We are not that bad yet in the future. So I think that I will still create me coding stuff often, because I like to do that. That's the first reason why I started creating content about anything which is in tech. So when I create content, it's like saying, you stop painting because now there is photography, but that's not the point for me, because I want to build stuff. Now, probably if you wanted to make a living to just make video tutorials 10 years ago, you could do it. Now probably that's not a good bet. You can still do it. Probably you have to change something, when you have to change your approach on do different things. But I think that having someone who can, if you like explaining things, you just have to change it a bit. I think maybe we don't need, super polished and free videos on YouTube. I don't want to say anymore, but let's say that we need them less. So let's say I will not recommend to spend 1 month in creating a free tutorial on YouTube. Do it paid if you want. Do something. Write a book. I wrote a book about Rust, a shameless plug. So that's so do something paid.
Nice.
In this case. I would recommend, because then you will get because people who want to learn, they are still there. I sold 500 copies on the book in 3 months. So some people still buy them. Some people still want to learn in different ways. Maybe it's not worth it anymore, to do this, to spend so much time in preparing them. So maybe you can do just a live event, or maybe, I don't know, a long video where you mess up a lot. Some people like even that format. So probably this unpolished format might perform even better, because maybe you wanted to see that person struggling or understanding why they found it difficult, and that's the thing. But I think that that type of content will change, as like everything has changed so far, but there is still space for that. I see, and sometimes they also perform very well when I code, and whatever.
Yeah. So lean more to like the unpolished human experience, right? So do it for the experience of it, because and if you are going to teach, you want to gate it so that those that actually get through the gate are interested in learning, rather than doing it more for like I'd say the platform rewards, like the YouTube rewards of it. That's great. Thanks. I'm curious, how have you 10x the community part of developer advocacy with AI, if you have, or it's that still 100% human? How has that impacted events, talks, community curation, growth?
I see a lot of people at conferences, so it was not, let's say, impacting that much. Maybe even a trend that I'm seeing is that people at conferences, they want to interact even more. I don't know if it's because maybe they've been too much at home writing prompts, but I've noticed that now people at the events, they really want to talk about each other. They like to talk each other, to exchange ideas. Of course, talk a lot of talk about AI. I've been involved in many conversations about the fear of AI, and so I am a strong believer that in-person events, it's what will make the difference, and I'm not just talking about this because I've been traveling a lot in the past 40 days, because I think that this is what will make you even stand out. It will give you more experience, more opportunities for your career. So I'm a strong believer. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm right, but we will see in 5 years if like going to so many conferences will make a difference compared to just staying at home and vibe coding. We will see. We'll see who will be right.
Yeah.
We will have another chat in
I've
maybe
actually
2 years.
seen.
Let's see.
Right, to check back again. But yeah, you're right. I've actually seen a rise in real life events, and not just that, but folks that want to hire people that are in person. For some reason, if currently
I
if you're a
got hired
developer advocate.
also for the reason. My role
Yeah, right.
here, is that probably the company, the ropes, they want someone who is a real human being. They even asked me to organize an in-person event. This is a spoiler, maybe in the future. So this is probably one of the reasons why I also got this role. So I would recommend, if you have the opportunity, to go to in-person events. Whatever. I'm not sponsoring any conference here, but is meeting someone in person, and I think we met in person once.
Yeah,
Maybe
we did in
it will
Atlanta.
connect that person on a different level. So I don't know if you took a selfie together.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I think we did.
So you have to send it to me.
We did. Yeah, I'll find it. But yeah, you're right. I say to folks now that if you're a developer advocate in San Francisco, for instance, you're gonna get hired before you get to the next rice and chicken spot. Like
I was in San Francisco. I was in San Francisco last week, so
yeah,
that's a nice
you probably
example.
got a lot of people, like a lot of teams and companies being like, "Hey, are you open? Do you want to switch?"
Crazy.
It's
No,
not
it has
long,
been
but
it has been crazy. Like some people live in San Francisco just for this. I'm considering like going at least once a year now, because my contact list really exploded in San Francisco. So yeah, it's true.
As a developer advocate, like I go 3 to 4 times a year I've been twice this year already,
Wow.
and it's been massive. Just the opportunities for developer advocates in general. I know not everyone has the opportunity to do so, but if you can, because I also think we're at the state where a lot of people have built products, right, and they want to take it to market. They want to attract new users. So there's just that massive opportunity for anyone that's building out there. I guess last question would be for anyone currently considering. You talked about, you know, all this being a massive boost for a career. For anyone considering a career in developer advocacy now, either senior making a switch, because there are people within organizations, and the organization have sort of morphed into being either like a developer experience company or an agent experience company. And they've suddenly found themselves going from regular marketing to now having to do developer marketing and developer advocacy, right? What would you recommend that they start with? So if they want to make this switch and be a 10x developer advocate today, maybe it's not with AI, right? But in today's day and age, where do you see that edge being? What should they focus on first and maybe next?
Yes, I think developer advocacy. It's a great role if you like to work with people. So
Mhm.
not everyone likes that, but if you like to work with other people, which are also developers, it might be the role for you. I would say to work 100% on social media and content creation and let them come. So I really believe, maybe it's a bit unpopular. I think in developer relations, usually the companies they find you. It's better if you focus. I mean, I'm not telling you to not apply, of course, but don't just apply, because companies they want to see the stuff. So focus
Yeah.
on creating a social media presence, having at least one strong platform, having some strong points. Some years ago, I was used to say having a strong point. Now in AI, I have to say have strong points. I don't know. This person is very good at making podcasts. This person is very good at organizing events, because this is what companies are looking for. So having strong points, plural now, sorry, we have to work more. It's probably the best way to get a role. Another hack, what is? Connect with other developer advocates. Do you want to play the guitar? Connect with some people who play the guitar. So if you want to work in DevRel, connect with me, connect with William, connect with people who work in developer advocacy. That's probably the best way. Do you want to make YouTube videos? Connect with YouTubers. So that's a rule. You want to have drugs? Connect with people who do drugs. Joking.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct, and I do appreciate that. If for anyone that wants to get started as a developer advocate, create, right. I I I actually work with a couple of companies that are looking to hire developer advocates. So Francesco, if you weren't taken, I would have already started making you offers. But the key thing we're always looking for is, are they creating something, right? Teams want to see what they're gonna get beforehand, right? And most people these days are looking for creators, even though they are looking for senior talent, because they understand that getting into like the strategy these days isn't a lot of work, because you can do more. So they want you to do more, but most of that more comes in creation. It's in the execution. How fast can you create stuff on the product side, on the curation side, like you said, on the community side? How fast can you stand up an event? If you are going to make a video, how fast can you do it? Is it something you want to do? And they want to see that you've done it already. They want to see that you have a channel that you're strong at. You're likely going to get a job if you have 10K YouTube subscribers than if you've worked for like 6 years in developer marketing, right? I think
This is
that's currently the state.
William. This is an unfair word, but this is exactly you are basically explaining this in one line, because to get social media presence, it means that you did something. Now, that's not enough alone. If you have just been
Yeah,
creating JavaScript videos and I have a company focused on Python, I still say, okay, this guy is cool, but it's not our person. So you still have
yeah.
to do something about a specific topic. But for sure, if a person has a social media presence, say, okay, this person did something. Now let's see what they did. But it's a nice way to introduce yourself. If you have to speak to many people, if you have many people following you for some reasons. Probably this person has talked a lot. Like I've been talking a lot, for example, in the past 5 years. So this is a great quality as a developer advocate. And there are also, I want to say that there are also exceptions. I've also seen developer advocates with not a huge social media presence, but they are, for example, very technical, especially on the curator part, when you don't need to expose yourself so much. So, as I said, there are many different roles in developer advocacy. Devrel is like saying developer. It's not enough. You have to say, okay, but backend, front-end, DevOps. So, devrel is a great umbrella of roles, but we like to, to regroup them in this same type. And but still you might end up doing different things. Now I want to say, do you need a social media presence to work in developer advocacy? I would say no, but it helps a lot. It probably helps more to have a social media presence than having a degree. I have a computer science degree. Nobody cares. They just ask me for YouTube views and YouTube subscribers. So it's nice to have, but it's not, for example, what is helping me in getting developer relation jobs. It helped me to get previous roles, but I think that it's great to being paid to connect with other people, talk to other developers. Sometimes I wonder why, but I understand, because probably companies, they need a developer who can talk to other developers. Developers are it's very hard to talk with them. As soon as they feel sales and marketing, they start, scratching them. They have some allergy to marketing and promotions. So this is how it is. So having someone who can connect with them, share the struggles, sometimes even share what you don't like at the company. If you say, okay, this feature is not my favorite one, but here it is. This will create a lot of empathy. If I talk about something at the ropes and say, okay, this feature can be improved, we are not there yet. I think it's like, when you read a real review of a person, say, okay, this place is not the best, but I don't know. I will probably read them more than just an amazing, because it feels more real.
Yeah, you're right. I definitely do agree with you. Creating content is not all of it, but it does help a long way if you're looking to be a developer advocate. Thank you so much, Francesco. Where's the best place for folks to connect with you? I know you're everywhere. You've got like great YouTube and LinkedIn.
If you
What's the
type my
best
name,
way?
if you type my name, you will find it. I have also the domain, francescocuilla.com. You can find me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm quite active, I would say. Maybe even at some big conference, you might find me. But thanks for having me. This has been amazing chat, I would say, very relaxed one. And I also love your background. I love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this has been great. Well, thanks to everyone that stuck around for this one. And that is today's episode of Everything Outside Code. And I hope you go become a 10x developer advocate after this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Wow, that was